People of the world, welcome to Send It Rising Live. This the 361st episode in our history. Y'all know that I've got a Buddha here. I don't know if you're just a podcaster and you've never seen my face, but there's this Buddha here. He's chilling. He's beautiful. It's a gift, actually, from my neighbors. I gave them something called a bagua, which is this beautiful piece of art. And when they moved out, they snuck this Buddha into my backyard as a gift. Super cool of them. Did you know that my guest today is very zen? He's zen like the Buddha. He knows that altruism is the path, which is to say, we were chatting backstage about lead generation, and his particular strategy is to be a guest in BNI chapters. If you're unfamiliar with BNI, Business Networking International, I call it business church. It's basically a bunch of people in different industries, only one per industry. So you have your one residential realtor, maybe you have a commercial realtor, a lawyer of certain discipline, a dentist, etc. And what he'll do is he'll be a substitute, because if you do not show up to your BNI chapter one day, people get crabby. You're not supposed to do that. You get an absence. And so he will hook them up by showing up at their chapter. And then this is what we've talked about on the show before, which is indebtedness. People feel bad when other people do nice things for them and they don't reciprocate. They want to reciprocate. It feels better when they reciprocate, which is why, of course, we love one another, in part because of that indebtedness, but also because it's the right thing to do and it's what makes the world go round. I met Richard at an incredible networking event on the bus, it was called. We chatted for quite a while. And so trust me when I tell you, this dude's going to blow your mind. He is a web development master business owner, and he is live on the show. Welcome, Richard Luppino.
Thank you for having me.
He's muted now for some reason. Check your settings again.
Oh my God.
Brad Hess in chat writes, Kellen rocking the samurai haircut. Thank you, Brad. If you're listening on the podcast, iTunes, and Spotify, you got it, Richard.
Wow, crazy stuff. Welcome.
Yes, sir. YouTube.com/Send It Rising. Mr. Luppino, as we were talking about backstage, you figured out a way to develop leads using the goodness of your own heart. Do you feel, talking to people who are just starting out, entrepreneurs, etc., what can they do? Does this strategy work where you just do nice things for people and then they feel like they need to reciprocate?
It does seem to. I mean, like you said, I do it through BNI, that Business Networking International, where you're with my own chapter. I'm getting to know like and trust. That's always a big thing. And by subbing, you're building that with multiple people. This is marketing. It's getting your face out there and getting them to know, like, and trust you. I do the same thing in my Chamber of Commerce too. Of course, you don't really sub there, but you network a lot. You get them to know you a lot. It does translate through multiple things. The more you network, the better off it is.
It's true. So the Chamber of Commerce stuff is interesting to me, but the pandemic feels like it just absolutely torched a lot of the events. Are they mostly online now? Is it Chamber of Commerce Zoom stuff?
Mine is going back. They're having one tonight. We're gonna have to show proof of vaccine to get in. But before that, it was getting back face to face a little bit. We had to wear masks while we were there until we, unless we were eating something, of course, and you don't have to. Like right now, they're looking for proof of vaccination now. What happens next? I mean, it changes. It really is. It's like, close your eyes and try to hit something. It's going to change.
Yeah. I just, like, in a perfect world, I feel like I could just run Facebook ads and Google ads. And for many B2Cs, it works. This is the paradox of being a digital marketing company, which is usually what works for your clients does not work as well for you, because in our world, it's big ticket items and they really, really, really want a warm referral. Because when it comes to web development, I don't know what your prices are, but 3,500, 4,000, 5,000,
unless you start getting the e-commerce or custom stuff, that's right around that area.
Yeah, it's about that much. And then obviously you could find custom people that want to charge you 80,000. You should see some of the price tags I've seen that casinos have paid for websites. Seven figures.
Those are heavy customized though.
That's
true. Got betting. You've got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And some clients really want something more customize. I have someone that wants me to go straight to a gateway's API instead of using plugins. That's fine. It costs that way because it's my time and my expertise.
That's true. What do you develop in? Are you a WordPress developer?
I am mostly WordPress, mostly because that's what small businesses want is
Mhm.
WordPress, or at least that's what they think they want. But I could also do it in ASP.NET. But I find that actually works better for web apps than websites. ASP.NET is great for that. You have that whole model that kind of fits that much better.
Mhm.
We're not getting too technical about that.
Yeah, if I'm a client and I need a website, um,
Okay.
what uh what do you think the ideal sort of behavior I should have is? Should I just say, you know what, here are three things that I want and just leave and just let you do your job? Or do I need to communicate often about what I want, what I don't want? Like, what's the best client look like for you, and what's a nightmare client?
The best one, a little bit of both, actually. I mean, you got to kind of give me an idea of what it is you're looking for, what it is you're looking to have accomplished. What is your goal with this website? You should be able to, communicate that to me. But once we kind of have that all set and all that, then for the most part, yeah, just let me go and build. Otherwise, you start going, especially if you start changing your mind a lot, it's just going to sit there and go on forever, and that's just not going to happen. It
Yeah,
can't go on forever.
that's always an issue that we have, which is what's referred to as scope creep. Um,
Yes,
so it's like, okay, even if you put into a contract, hey, you get four revisions, and the revisions have to come in at certain times, and if you don't get here by this point, at the end of the day, all you can really do is threaten, right? An increase in price or this or that and the other, and nobody wants to do that. As a business owner, you don't want to threaten a client. That's terrifying. That's horrible. Like, why would you ever want to do that? Like, they're paying you good money. You want to
I
make
know.
them happy. Fantastic. But at the end of the day, I've had clients that take a year and a half to develop a website, where you're just
Cannot
like,
happen.
you email them and you go like, hello, is anyone home? Like, guys. And I don't know why they don't want the thing they paid for. Can you explain that to me?
Why they no, I can't explain why they don't want it either. To tell you the truth, it's crazy. But what I do put that in my contract. Several things. One, um, if I'm waiting for you and you don't get back to me, I will move on to another project in the time. So if all of a sudden you come back to me, I might not be ready at that moment, and you got to wait for me. I'm very clear about that. It's like, you know what? I got a job, I got a life, I got a business to run, so I can't wait forever, and I will pick up. If I have another client going on, I'll start developing them. When you come back, I'll work with you. As soon as I get a chance again. And of course, the whole idea of scope creep with adding, I have also in my contracts that there will be additional fees for additional things. And if it gets to the point where it's going to be 20% more, you've got to sign an addendum that says, okay, this is what it's going to cost now, and you know that. And
I see.
it keeps the surprises away. It also isn't a threat that way because it's like in the contract. Yeah, we need an addendum. You've added to the scope.
hmm
You
Yeah,
know.
and I found that by and large, most clients are fine with it. I have not
Hmm.
actually, in recent memory or in memory at all, had a client go, you know what, and get really upset about us saying, you know what, that's going to be more. They're always receptive to it. And yet in my head, there's fear there of some sort of backlash, but it's never occurred. And so I feel like by and large, and this is for entrepreneurs that maybe aren't in this space, a lot of that fear-based mentality, which to me is automatic, my mind just produces. I didn't ask for it. It's just like it just crops up. It's like it's not real, if that makes
It's
sense.
not.
Yeah.
No,
But
it's
the
not
mind
real.
does it anyway.
Well, think about a mechanic. How many times you went to a mechanic? Oh, this is the price. You get the bill. Well, we had this, this, this. It's more. Yeah, okay. It really isn't much different. You have to learn it.
That's so true. Maybe it's a little uncomfortable to say it,
Right. That's why it's
right?
in my contract. It makes it a little bit more comfortable because I already have it written out.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I am such a giver. I don't know if you're a giver, but I'm just like,
Yeah,
I just
we.
want to hook people up all the time. I want to help them out, and it just stings to not just be able to be Santa Claus all the time.
Yeah, you do tend to give a little bit too. It's you don't charge for every little thing. It's like okay, that's a little bit above, not a big deal. It's when they start to become a lot above, you start to worry about it. But one or two things here or there. Oh, look, I forgot this page. Page usually doesn't take me all that long, especially a service page. It's pretty much the layouts just give me content.
That's so true, and then you
Yeah.
you hook people up, and it's it's so funny to me. I have these far out ideas about, like, the way I treat my kids becomes revenue in my business, which I know sounds totally crazy, but I see the interconnectivity of human actions, which is to say, I feel like, when I behave in a patient way anywhere in my life, it the end result becomes good things in other aspects of my life, because
Hmm.
our conversation right now is connected to how well I slept last night and if I exercised and all of these things going on, and so I'm trying to balance everything well all of the time. Good. Oh, here's this great thing I saw on TikTok. What's his name? Simon Sinek did a TikTok where he's got the Navy SEALs, or no, it was a SEAL Team 6, one of the best performing, highest, sort of whatever, piece of the military.
The
He
team of teams.
Exactly. So he's got a chart where there's performance on the vertical and trustworthiness on the horizontal.
Mm,
And he says that they don't prefer to promote extremely high performers that have low trustworthiness. And if it comes to obviously they want super high performer, super high trustworthiness, but they
right.
value trustworthiness more than they do performance when the performance is good enough. And the reason is it's just everything falls apart if you can't trust this person. And
Absolutely.
so I keep thinking sometimes, I'm like, why? And this is me being a little bit, you can roll your eyes 1,000 times, but I'm like, why have I achieved the success that I've gotten to? And the answer that I just came to recently is that I put so much trust in people all of the time. I will always err on the side of, you know what? I'm just going to trust you. I'm going to trust you to do it. I'm not going to look over your shoulder. I'm not going to micromanage you. I'm not going to, is what it is. And if you burn me, then yeah, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to move on to the next person, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to burn me and burn me bad. And that's just how I operate.
No, that makes sense. You do. Well, if you want to be trusted, you have to trust people. I mean,
That's right.
You get somebody who really doesn't trust anybody. You kind of look and go, "Is that because you can't be trusted?" I mean, who the who's the biggest person that's afraid of being stolen from? A thief, because they know it's done. It's like, well, I know it's done because I do it. Same idea. I don't trust you because I can't be trusted. So I think there's a lot to play on that. If you trust people, it's because you sit there and feel like they could trust me, and why shouldn't I reciprocate that?
I love that.
But you're right.
And
Once they burn you, it's all over.
oh, it's done. It's yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the worst thing they could do.
Yeah, done deal. But it reminds me of what we talked about earlier, which is you earn people's trust by subbing for them. They're like, "Ooh, I need a
Yeah,
sub. I don't want an absence. I'm stressed about it. Oh yeah, Richard's got me. I
right.
trust that Richard is going to show up, do the thing." And you do, and they
Yep.
trust you, and bingo. I mean, it's such a simple formula. I love it. It's such a
It,
good strategy.
it really is. It's just a matter of
Brilliant.
showing up. It's like, hey, I gave you my word. Here I am.
That's right,
You
and you
know.
just keep doing it, and you keep showing up, and you become a novelty in these BNI chapters too, because it's like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah.
Richard's here," like, "Oh, Richard's back, yay," as opposed to, he's just a chapter member, he's just whatever.
I got one chapter that calls me cousin Richard.
That's what I'm saying. So you're endearing,
It's
and you're
great. It's like that's
you
cool.
I love it, and you're literally like Santa Claus because, like, look, shopping for adults sometimes is really hard, right?
Yeah,
Because especially successful adults, because it's like, here's a thing you could have got just purchased yourself.
and
And
probably did.
and yeah, you might already have it. Like, here you go. Here are socks for you. Like, you need more socks. So all it is the thought that counts. But professionals, time, man. They need time and flexibility. And so
Yes, they do.
when you can roll up and be like, oh, your kid got COVID and you're freaking out, don't think twice. Richard's on the spot. I got you.
Hmm.
Just don't, like, take BNI off your plate, because Richard's going to show up for you.
I'll even take it one step further because if I can't show up, because I'm also an ambassador, so there's times I can't be open. I'll find them another one. It's like, oh, this guy will do it for you.
That's
I take it an
see.
extra step, even. Yeah,
That's like a part-time job for you, and but if you think about
sometimes.
it, yeah, if you think about it, sales is that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like you have to bifurcate, if that's the word, but you have to split up um your world as an entrepreneur. It's like 5% of my job is accounting, QuickBooks. right?
Yep.
Like that sort of thing. 5% is like the morning meeting. Another 10% is my BNI chapter. Another, you know what I mean? And you just like you split up these percentages of your hours in the day. And you invest your time into something like that. Like being a substitute for these other chapters is 15% of my life.
Yep. And it works.
Brilliant.
You
I
know,
love it.
it's marketing. Just gotta treat it like marketing.
Yeah. And it also goes to show that like because I think as we become more and more successful, our time there's a narcissism that can creep in that goes, my time is so valuable, right? Because look at this money I'm making, and look at it's like I could be doing all of these other things, and my time is so valuable. And to step into someone else's to get them their time back. I mean, that's like 150 bucks, 100 bucks. Like that's like
Hmm.
you're adding just for that hour, hour and a half, the willingness to show up and do that. Because if they perceive their own time as really valuable and you just gave them more of it, I mean, come on. What
That's
a great
true.
gift, you know?
Yeah,
And
I never
we
thought of that,
should
but that's true.
yeah, we should value our own time, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we should.
Yeah.
There's not enough hours in a day. Really, there's not.
Let's talk about the nap, shall we, Richard? We all work from home now, right? And nobody
Yes.
talks about the nap because it's the dirty little secret, I think, of work from home is that the human body, at least mine, gets tired around I don't know 2:30, 3 in the afternoon, especially after lunch. And there are very few cultures, but they do exist where people will just take a nap, right? Some do it
Hmm.
habitually, some do it just when it feels right. Um, do you think that it is in the future of humanity to institute, not institute, but more people, because they're working from home, respecting their body enough to actually go to sleep when they're tired and they don't have a meeting?
I think so. I've been working out of my house long before the pandemic. It's
Mm.
just because my business lends to it. I don't really have a 9 to 5 job. I have a, oh, it's time to work. Let me work. I'm burnt out. Whatever it is. I need a break. I'll take a nap, play whatever it is. I'll just break because you got to have a mental break. But then again, that could be in the middle of the day. I do that, and in the middle of the night, I could be working. It's just whatever kind of worked for me at the time. It's like, okay, it's quiet now. Let me get to work. Especially during the day. Well, my daughter's older now, but when she was younger, she really burned up my time because she was a kid. She needed time, and I was home, and it was easier than calling my wife and have her come home. Oh, I'm here, you know. But when she was asleep and it was quiet, I did a lot of work too. So yeah, you do. It will be a broken day. It has been for me for a long time because it just works. So
Mm.
I can see that people once they start really understanding working from home, yeah, as long as if they work for somebody else and they allow that, that definitely could go in that way.
I mean, I think in 100, 200, 300 years from now, once we achieve much more flexibility in the way we work, which we're leaps and bounds, is what we're experiencing now. What we'll realize is caffeinating yourself to stay awake consistently over time causes all kinds of problems. Like my body is telling me, brother, just go to bed, just
You'll
sleep.
burn out.
Just sleep, dude. You're tired. Like, what are you doing? Just go to bed.
Hmm.
It. I was talking to a nurse practitioner. She's basically my doctor. She's like a doctorate in nursing, and I was telling her my hip was really bugging me. I got this nerve thing, and she's like, here's meloxicam. Take it. You need sleep. I'm like, I am not. I do not want to take painkillers. Like, I'm not interested in that. I'll just deal with it. Whatever. She's like, she sat me down and she goes, here's something you need to understand sleep research that's coming out, they're like, you absolutely 100% need. Don't, it's not like be sure, be nice to have. It's like you need good sleep. Sleep is so insanely important to your health and well
Hmm.
being that I'm willing to give you something that could have long term effects, whatever. I don't take it. I took it for a bit. I'm just working on like physical therapy stuff to figure it out. But she really impressed upon me the need for good sleep. And for
Hmm.
me, taking a nap in the afternoon is one of the greatest feelings ever. I feel so much more energized. I'm so much of a better father. I'm just a better human being when I
Yeah.
actually respect my body's need to rest.
Yeah. Well, that's because you stop becoming reactive.
Hmm.
When you're tired, you're not thinking straight. You're actually reacting to things. You're not acting. It's like something happened. Oh, like, and you immediately go to a stress point.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so you definitely need sleep. I for the most part wake up naturally. I don't wake up by alarm clocks. Those few times I sub, I do a little bit, but it's not that much earlier than I would have woken up on my own anyway. But for the most part, if I don't have anything with BNI, I wake up when I wake up.
Good for
Then I
you.
come downstairs and start to work, and that's it.
I love that. Yeah, I love it.
And
And I tell my staff too, that if I Skype call you, I don't need you to pay. Like, you don't need to be. You're not on call, right? Does that
right,
make sense? Like, we're a marketing company. I do not need you to respond in 5 minutes or the world implodes. It's
yeah,
like I never have things that must be done right now.
no,
It's so rare. And if it is one of those moments that might happen once a year, then I will call you, right? I will
Mm,
text you. I will blow you up. If it's a true emergency, I will just use all the channels to get in touch with you, you know?
okay, no, sure.
Never, never happens. Never happens. It's
Yeah,
marketing. It's like, it's just, this isn't, you're not an ER doctor.
same with web development. What website problem could there really be that's such an emergency? Even if you tell me my website is down, which is a big deal,
Mhm.
okay, I'm sure the hosting company is dealing with that. You know,
Yeah, that's right. Well, and you don't host the website.
I no, I'm a reseller. I'm not. I don't have the equipment. I go through somebody else. I rent theirs out.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm sure there's an IT department jumping all over that. So
That's right. Yeah,
I
here's
don't.
here's who hosts your website. It's GoDaddy. Here's the number, And if you
Mm.
want me to call and do the exact same thing you would do, then sure. 1-800, whatever, whatever, whatever. Give
Right.
them a
Well,
ring.
I get those calls. My website's down. Yeah, I know. They went down. Mine's down too. But it's never
Mhm.
down that long either.
Right. Right. Yeah. It is a fascinating world we live in. And when websites go down, there is that shock to the system. I definitely felt it. And I've worked with some web developers that are very slow to address these sorts of things. And so I get it from the client's perspective. It feels like it's the end of the world. But through all the years that I've been doing this, it never is.
No, no, it never is. Even if you're an e-commerce system, you'll probably get those people back. People understand that websites go down sometimes. As long as you're not down constantly, they don't care so much.
Sure.
Maybe a new client, you might lose them because they don't know, but even still, you'll get that back somewhere else.
Yeah, and well,
Because,
especially like, look, I mean, if I were a hosting company, then fine. Like, I agree, But when it's just some other host, it's sort of like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, we'll reach out to them, like them. It's them. Hello, like this is not what we do. We don't host websites for a living,
right,
Like,
it's strictly a convenience for you.
yeah, like exactly. Like, sure, I will stop what I'm doing and I will call them. But what's amazing is, like Google Ads is a good example. Facebook Ads is a good example. Hosting is a good example. These are separate companies. Like Google, for example, Google makes the vast majority of their revenue off of Google Ads, and so
Oh,
they've got
yes.
support up the wazoo for that. So like whatever issue it is, you call them and they will happily walk you through because it's a
Oh,
sale for them.
yep. No, that's why everything else they do is free. Analytics is free because they don't need to make money from that. It's actually good business because now it's like, oh, I know what website's doing, and guess what? I want more ads. You know,
Oh, isn't that fascinating? Yeah, their model is absolutely fascinating. It's
it
we
is.
will we will provide the fastest answers to any question on the planet, but we're not actually providing those answers. You are,
Hmm.
right? So I call working for a social media company as being Zuckerberged. I feel like a lot of folks, when they post to sites like Facebook or social media, they don't recognize that they are a part-time employee of the social media company. When we produce content, we're using our time and energy and life and experience and whatever to produce work that is a profit driver for whoever we
Hmm.
produce that work for. Um, with no reciprocation, none. We don't, unless you're getting some sort of like YouTube views or whatever. Doggos. You're cool,
Yeah,
dude.
somebody must be coming in.
No, you're fine. So I guess the point I'm making is like, yeah, Google just figured it out because nobody's gonna stop making web pages.
No, nobody is. Yeah, when they first came out with that, people thought they were nuts. Like, wait, they're not charging us for this. This company's opened up. They spent a ton of money to build themselves to not charge us, and people were like, I don't get it. Well, guess what? now we see their end game, and it made sense.
Yeah, and the cost per click of like a personal injury attorney in Las Vegas, $50, $70. I've seen 100 and some bucks per click.
I've seen over 100 for clicks too. Sometimes it's crazy. You know what? They leveraged the market. You know, how much does a click cost? Whatever you bid. Oh, I got to bid more.
Right.
And when you bid, it drives it up.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I could go up higher and still make money, and up it goes.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
They have great idea.
Yeah, yeah. So I wonder, so in the future, I know that search is going to be transformed into sort of like Siri. There's more Siri, more Hey Google, this whole thing.
Voices, yeah.
Which I can appreciate voice search. I feel like one of the issues with the voice search is that it gives you an answer to whatever it is you're asking. So if it's like, hey, what's 93 times 2 divided by 6, whatever, like
Right.
it's great for that sort of thing. What it's not great for is, hey, Google, you know, who's the best plumber in Las Vegas? You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
You know, you still want to search that because you want to judge their Google reviews. You want to read what people have written about them. I mean, it's a whole different.
Right.
Yeah.
And all they're going to do too, Siri. I'm not going to say her name because otherwise she'll start talking to us. They're going to go out to the web and look too, because they'll even say, "Here's what I found on the web."
That's right.
And then you have to go out there and check them out, like check out the reviews, check out the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all a big deal. But it's going to be a mixed world. They're going to have both.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm happy to be alive at this time. To be born around the dawn of the internet is such a fascinating thing, and I know people are going to look back on this and look at this as like prehistory. You know,
Yeah.
one of my favorite things recently that I heard is from Elon Musk, where he talks about in 1,000 years there's going to be so many virtual realities that I mean, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of options of like virtual worlds that you can live in.
Right.
And he's like, what's the probability that this is base reality, the one that we're experiencing right now? Like, why do we think that this is like the one, and then all other simulations, you know, are like, you know, this is. You see what I'm saying? He's like,
I do. I get that.
probabilistically, it's like, you know, like in all likelihood, this is a simulation, you know, and I'm like, ooh, I love it. It reminds me of the Matrix.
Oh, there you go. Well, actually, it kind of reminded me a little bit of that Animal House way back when they were sitting around. So you're telling me inside my finger could be 1,000 universes, and I could be in a universe of someone else's finger? And the guy's like, of course they were sitting on drugs. They were like, oh my god.
Oh sure, yeah, psychedelic.
That was a funny moment though in that movie.
That's so true.
But yeah, same idea.
I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming close to the top of the hour, so I want to make sure that you know where to reach out to Mr. Luppino. So, Richard, give them some information about where they can find you, etc.
Sure. But the company is Infinia Development, and you could reach me at infiniadevelopment.com. My email address is richard@infiniadevelopment.com, and you can reach me by phone at 845-218-0707.
Beautiful. And if you swing by youtube.com/Send It Rising, or you are watching this on YouTube, the link is right there in the description. For those of you listening on iTunes and Spotify, or those of you listening after the fact, you know, we love you. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Richard, you're a treasure. I appreciate having you on the show. So much fun, and we'll see y'all later.
It was great being here. Thank you.